I would like to have a family one day, but I don't know how because I don't have the money. And it's so easy to compare yourself, And I just felt like I wasn't doing enough.
Right now, to live per month, you need $3,000. No outside food, no nails, wax, all that stuff, zero. $3,000. What do you want? Because right now you're saving $150 per month.
I know.
If you were saving thousands per month, I would tell you, hey, okay, let's rock and roll. That's fine, you're doing it. But I'm seeing nothing. My name is Romain, and for the past 10 years, I've been on a quest to tackle America's toughest personal finance situations. Leveraging my Ivy League master degree and personal experience, I've found solutions for what seems impossible. In 1 year, you can completely be in a different spot. Are we ready to take action?
Yes.
Will this be the one I cannot solve? Let's see what happens. Let's look at your profile. You are 28 years old from Barcelona, Spain. You currently live in Los Angeles. You work in digital marketing as well as in the world of television and having a bunch of side hustles as well. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Awesome. Looking at the way you've rated your personal finances from chilling to Mayday, you rated yourself as bad as I'm okay, which is awesome to hear. As a young, 28 years old, what's going on?
Okay, well, like you said, I'm about to get to my 30s soon, and I feel like I'm a little falling behind in comparison to my friends, and I look into long-term goals, and I, want to have a family and maybe have a property, but I don't know how to get there and where to start to get there. So I'm a little stuck. I need a little bit of guidance. I don't know if I'm doing my best saving money or how to invest. I have no clue. I'm a little lost.
Yeah, financially, you're doing pretty decent, but you're finding yourself in a place where you want to get to that next step.
Yeah.
Invest, diversification, especially as you think about, as you mentioned, having a family. And so let's dive a little bit into that person. And you guys follow along as we'll be bringing a bunch of different strategies for you, no matter what your age is, as you think about enhancing your financial situations with a bunch of tips and tricks. So Alba, you currently live in Los Angeles, but at its root, you were born in Barcelona, but you didn't spend as much time in Europe. Most of your life was in the United States. Tell me more.
Well, yeah, I moved when I was 18 to Oregon State with a track and field scholarship. And I, since then, been in America. So 10 years in America.
10 years in America. What has been your life for the most part?
For the first 4 years was Oregon State studying and track and field, like training, So I moved to Los Angeles and I started working as a video editor. I got married, so I got my green card, but that marriage didn't work out. So
you got the green card through marriage?
Yes, yeah. It's so hard to get a green card. Otherwise, like in another way, it's so hard.
So how did that marriage go? You said it hasn't worked out. Walk me through a little bit about what happened.
It was okay for me for a while, but then eventually I needed a structure and I needed something more secure. And it seemed like it was hard for him to provide that and want that. And, we tried. We really tried to make it work, but it just wasn't meant to be. It wasn't his lifestyle, and my lifestyle with his lifestyle wasn't working.
But I believe at the end, it didn't end as nice as you would have seen. In fact, I believe that he asked you for a crazy amount of money.
Yeah, he wanted all the money. He wanted a spousal support, and I was making the same amount as he was making throughout the relationship, so it didn't make any sense. He wanted me to pay $500 a month for I don't know how long, and $100,000.
$100,000.
Yeah, I was like, that doesn't make any sense.
So the result of which is you ended up paying zero. Okay.
Yeah.
So
he finally understood that it wasn't making any sense. So we agreed on settling with. He kept the car. He kept whatever he wanted. He kept his things and I kept my things, and no one really owned anything to each other.
So you ended up this marriage with a green card, no real finance obligations.
No.
And now you are pretty much single into the world, but something, especially with regards to your mental health.
It's so easy to compare yourself, especially when you're living in a big city like Los Angeles, where everyone is so bougie and everyone has these big cars and beautiful, whatever. Everything is big and show off, right? Everyone is loving to show off what they have, and you see all of that. And then of course you can just stop yourself from comparing yourself with these people. And I felt like I was kind of falling behind. I was like, how do these people have so much money? Like, I'm working and I have this other hustle, and I still am like, I don't feel good when I go out, eat food with these people, because they just go crazy and spend a lot of money. And I'm like, oh, I don't, my mind is like, oh, you should be saving this money and not spend it. Whereas other people just don't seem to be affected. They just go and spend the money. So I kept comparing myself, and I just kind of felt like I wasn't doing enough. I stopped taking care of myself. I love running. I mean, I moved to America because I was an athlete, and I kept running. And then I just completely stopped running. I would not run and not work out. I wouldn't go to the gym. I canceled my gym membership. Why have it if I don't go? So I kind of really was depressed. I wouldn't leave bed. I would, because I can work from home, right? So that means I can work from my bed, and I don't have to change my clothes, and I can just wear pajamas all day long, and maybe I'll go out to walk my dog, and that's it. That was me for months, and it was bad. And so I do want to be a mom, but I know I'm not going to be a mom just on my own. I mean, I could adopt if things would go bad, but I feel like I want to have a family. I want to have a dad, a husband that is going to be the dad to my kids. And on top of that, I don't have money. That was so much stress. So yeah, that was me at the beginning of this year, 2024, and for a while, for quite a lots of months. And I was on top of that, I was going through the divorce, which wasn't helping.
So you're going through this emotion that, I mean, in a way, I must tell you, at around the 30 years old as well, you're kind of feeling like you're out of the, not teenage, adolescent, or just a young professional. You find yourself in kind of that middle party where things kind of start to get serious, and you feel like you should, in a way, have it all together, and your finances should be flowing through and so on. But I'm sure that you're not the only one, and it doesn't have to be right now at 30 years old. I'm finding people that are in their 40s feeling like it's the midlife crisis and they want to reset and so on. It's episodes of our life where we feel like we're not doing enough. As recent as just a couple months ago, I was kind of feeling in similar ways as you. I was downing myself. Am I doing enough? Should I be pushing more and so on? Mm-hmm. Because I'm, doing this venture as well. I have a bunch of different jobs and so on to help sustain this passion too. Yeah. But I can understand where does this emotion comes in play for you, especially as you have quite a bit of running expenses that you need to kind of cater to on the side.
Yeah.
So ultimately, you go through that period in your life, mm-hmm. but you're finding an exit, and today you're presenting yourself feeling better, not optimal, but feeling a little bit better. How do you feel?
Overwhelmed. I have so much on my plate right now. I have my full-time job, a part-time job, and then I also have now a master's that I was excited when I, registered for, but now I haven't even opened the website yet, and it's been a week.
Yeah, we're falling behind. Okay.
So what's my issue here is I feel like I can optimize my finances. I would like to be financially independent and at least have one passive income, something that would work in my benefit, that I wouldn't have to be depending on a check, a paycheck.
Okay, great. So with knowing a little bit more about your story and your situation today, let's transition into the true numbers, looking at your income and your assets. So your first job is in digital marketing. You kind of run social media for a company. How much does that pay you per year?
65,000.
65,000, okay. And you've got that by leveraging a master degree that you've done in social media management
Yeah.
from Barcelona.
Yeah.
So that was a pretty good deal. Master's degree in Europe is, between $3,000 and $5,000. Not too bad.
Not at all.
All right.
And it was online, so I was able to study it in Los Angeles.
Very nice. And on top of that, you work in sports, organizing tournaments.
And leagues, and I do the marketing, like the email marketings, the social media, content creation.
How much do you get from that?
$25 an hour.
Okay. How many hours a week, more or less? Depends.
It's very, very, yeah. I mean, I could do 400 a month.
Between $400?
In between 400 and 700.
Okay, so that's a little bit of an extra pump. And on top of that, you also have your entertainment kind of in front of the camera career.
Yeah.
That fluctuates also here, looking at some of your statements between 300, 400, 500, sometimes more, sometimes less.
A lot. Yeah, I wish it was more constant, but not yet there.
That's just the way it is. Together, that brings your total income estimated per year around 70,000 or 4,941 net per month. Does that seem fair?
Yeah.
Okay. Looking at how that compares for your age bracket between 25 and 34, 50% make more, 50% make less, it's at 51,000. So you're about 35, 40% higher than
But is that
your
like
competition.
in America?
That's in America. That's what I was going to
Los
say.
Angeles.
Los Angeles, you're
I
getting
think I'm on the bottom.
burned. All right, let's look at what you own. Thank you again for providing me with your statements. So you're pretty decently diversified, although a lot of your money is stuck on accounts that you're not making much money from.
I know.
You have a checking account here with a balance of 11,350. Not too bad. You also have another checking account with a mere balance of 503, but I believe you're using this one to kind of allocate as money kind of flows through.
It's for my credit cards.
Oh,
So I can keep my credit cards, I have to have my checking account, and it has to have $500. Otherwise, I get charged for not having money. Yeah.
Okay. You also have a pretty big saving account with a balance of 10,110. That is placed into a high yield saving. You're getting about
4.3.
Okay, that's decent. There are better options. We have a partner here that I'm going to put, which is Pearl.com. You guys can check them out. You have a little bit of brokerage investment, crypto, not that much on it, about $46, but the good ones, Robinhood, about $2,054. And I believe looking at your historical, you're plus 21% this year. So not too bad at all.
The market did well.
A lot of which, yes, is because you're investing into the S&P 500 as well as a bunch of kind of energy companies, questionable, but... for $2,000, we're not going to meet too much. We'll be speaking on that front. Now, something that's a little bit more worrying is at your age, my friend, you've also stacked on a Roth IRA. Good for you that you've opened it. But you have a balance of $3,764 invested into target funds. They're actually not doing too bad. I'm not a fan of target funds. This one is picking 0.5% from you as a management fee, which is crazy. We'll be speaking on that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep. That's hundreds of thousands of dollars by the time retirement comes. If you were to max out your Roth IRA on a monthly basis, or actually on an annual basis, we'll be actually speaking about the math behind it. I think it's going to be interesting for many of you.
I would love to know about that.
And that's a little bit about everything when it comes to your retirement. Now, when it comes to transportation, you have two type of means of transportation. You have a motorcycle. You're a motorcycle rider with a Kawasaki, a pretty strong motorcycle, valued
Z650.
at how much is it worth?
10,700.
And do you have any debt on it?
No, I paid it all last year. No, early this year I finished it.
Okay, nice. And you also have a car. What do you drive?
Kia Rondo 2009.
How much did you buy it for?
I bought it at Facebook Marketplace for $1,300.
And it's working good?
It's working great.
Nice. So you guys, when you guys are telling me in the comments or just when people come to the show, oh, I can't have a car that's less than $10,000. It's a dump or anything.
That's BS.
Thank you. You can get some decent cars now. $1,300 for a car. You probably got very lucky, I must say. But
I did a lot of research.
$5,000, $7,000, you can have something that brings you from point A to point B, right? The car is valued today at $2,300. So you've made a little bit of profit. There you go.
$1,000 if I sell it tomorrow.
So that's, you're an investor.
I'm an investor.
Any other form of assets right now?
Does a laptop count? I don't know.
Laptop, furniture, shoes. No,
Yeah.
well, that's just kind of your
No,
personal
that's it.
assets.
That's it.
Total assets today at 28 years old, all of which was pretty much built on your own, right? It's
Yeah.
your own savings. 37,827.
Oh, not bad.
Not bad,
That's
right?
quite of a number. I didn't know I had that much.
That's right. That's pretty good. We would
Well,
like it
it's
to be
pretty
better.
good.
I mean,
Like-
you have a good base. You have a good base.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
your running expenses are also pretty steep. Let's work together into your expenses and your debt. So, how much you spend for rent per month in Los Angeles?
In total, with utilities, it's like 1,900.
1,900. I mean, you're not bowling like crazy. It's not too bad. That is 38% of your income. We like it to be below 28, but I mean, you're kind of in the price range of the city. You can't really fight for that. That's just the way it is. That's Los Angeles for you guys. On a one bedroom, how big is it?
Well, it's a house.
It's a house?
It's a nice house.
Oh, it's a little casita next to
It's
another.
a casita.
Ah,
No,
nice.
No, well, I mean, it's a house with a front yard and a backyard, and I have 2 roommates, and I have and it's 3 bedroom,
nice.
2 bathroom.
Okay, that's
It's
nice.
not bad
That's pretty
for
good.
what it is, but it's still expensive.
Looking at your transportation expenses, well, you own your car and your motorcycle outright. $0 of debt on that front. We like to see that.
Yep.
You're not spending a crazy amount. Looking at your statement, about $150 on gas and insurance. 53 for the motorcycle, 86 or so for the car. How are you pulling 86 on the car?
I'm just good at talking over the phone and being
What
like,
type of coverage do you have? Do you have full coverage?
I don't have no. You know what? You know what I said? I was like, hey, AAA guy agent, can you please give me the lowest insurance you have coverage? Because I have a shitty car, so if they hit me,
Yeah, but if you hit them,
I'm a good driver.
right, that's all what they always say, right?
No,
Just
yeah,
be
you're right.
very careful, very careful. As always, I will use the example of me. A couple years ago, got hit at a red light. The guy was uninsured. $140,000 of medical debt. Who pays for it? If the guy doesn't have insurance and you have the state minimum, what do you do? Because you have to account for the fact that a vast, not the vast majority, but a lot and lots of people, especially in LA,
Don't have insurance.
yeah, what do you do? With the cheapest from AAA, right? And there you go. So
I
that's
just-
food for thoughts.
You're right.
All right?
I
Food
just
for
don't drive
thoughts.
too much though, because I work from home, so I barely drive my
yeah,
car.
but be careful. What about your motorcycle? I mean, that's
The
if you have an
same thing.
accident, it's rough. Huh? Same thing too. You're playing fine lines.
I
huh?
just don't drive my motorcycle or my
Okay,
car
so you
much.
walk. You walk around LA.
I kind of bike
Yeah,
everywhere.
there you go. So that's not an excuse. No, we want to have at least $50,000 to $100,000 bodily damage and uninsured, underinsured to match that amount. I will
Okay.
put it in writing for you guys.
Yeah.
If you're at home, don't mess with this shit, please.
I'm gonna check that.
Transportation expense against your income, 6%. We like it to be below 15. You're doing good. You can afford yourself good insurance. Okay, we don't want to have you falling in that trap.
Okay.
Let's move on. Let's look at your spending. Show me your phone. Let's rock and roll. Because you have right now some little bit of debt, but something that you can pay. You have 2 credit cards, one of a balance of 2,213 and another one with a balance of 1,500, of 152. Guys, follow this. Is going to be a fun game. What you have is 2 cards from Chase, the Chase Freedom and the Chase Freedom Unlimited.
Yes.
Now, there is a game in the world of credit cards that I'm playing myself, which is called the Trifecta. Okay, so new knowledge. The Trifecta is a combination of the Chase Freedom Unlimited, and Chase Sapphire.
Okay.
What you do with that is, on average, you're able to, get around 5% or so on your purchases. Okay, my Chase Sapphire is the card that it's not sponsored, that I use the most. Okay, because I get 3 to 5%. And on top of that, you combine that with the Freedom Unlimited, which has a 5% on a rotation basis every quarter. And what you do, and that's the jackpot, is you're able to funnel all the points that you're getting from the 2 other cards to the Chase Sapphire. And if you book travel through the Chase Sapphire with points, you get an extra 50%. 50%. So I get about 7.5% back on my purchase. So that's how I've been able, for most of my travel, to pay it with points. Search online, Chase TRIFECTA. You can multiply your points with the Sapphire option, and it's the only one that does that.
Okay.
So look into this, guys. And fun fact as well, I carry another second card with me when it comes to, credit card games. And it is let me just remind. It's the American Express Cash Preferred. And what do I get from that? 6% on groceries.
Really?
That's thousands of dollars per year. 6% on groceries.
That's a lot.
At all participants except for Costco. That sucks.
Bueno, but Costco is right.
I like Costco. Anyway, grocery outlet, 6%. Target, Walmart, Sprouts, Smith's, Albertson.
TJ Maxx too?
No, it's not groceries. Sorry about that. And you shouldn't be purchasing at TJ Maxx. What do you purchase at TJ Maxx? Groceries?
No, you're right. Quick question.
Yeah.
Do you need to have a minimum of money for Amazon?
No.
American
No, it's a credit card.
Express?
You have a good credit score, 738. So you are going to be approved. No problem. Now, let me tell you something, guys. As you're playing the credit card game, the Sapphire, I personally have the Reserve. It's called Sapphire Reserve. That's a pretty steep yearly payment. I think it's over $500. My friend, I get $300 back on travel. Okay? I get hundreds of dollars of benefits on the side and coverage when I rent cars and so on. I can tell you that I'm milking this like crazy, where sometimes if you are in the right financial situation, paying for fees on cards is worth it. I average thousands of dollars on my cash preferred, and I believe the charge is $95 per year. So if you want to optimize your finances, credit cards are a right way because you've been paying all of them on time. So congratulations to you. If you're doing that at home, it works. But yeah, Chase TRIFECTA, that's the golden goose. You do Chase TRIFECTA combined with American Cash Preferred, and you're golden when it comes to credit cards. 90% of my transactions go through both of them. And I have 17 credit cards, so I know what I'm speaking about. I have tested most of them. A lot of them are shit.
Okay.
If you want to be in the credit card game, don't get a credit card from TJ Maxx. Don't get a credit card from Victoria's Secret, from Macy's, from all of those departmental crap.
Get me. I got a 41 Forever 21 credit card.
Useless as hell.
And never got the mail. And I never was able to pay it. And then it dropped my credit score down.
Well, I mean, that's user error. I doubt that they prevent you from paying it. But for the most part, the biggest thing behind it is that you can't elevate that. A big component of credit score is age history. And so when you're getting a credit card, you want to be able to carry that age over the years. And when you enter, let's say, with the Chase or Bank of America, although not preferred, Wells Fargo is shit. Yeah. Chase is my favorite. You can elevate that card over time and you keep that history. American Express is also great. Hold up! I have something timely and important to tell you. Many of you know that when it comes to my business banking, my preferred partner is Relay. I use them across all of my businesses, and you may have seen that in some of my recent videos. When you start, what's important is to have eyes on your cash flow. Relay, they pretty much equip you with all the tools that you will really need to understand how much you're earning in your business, how much you're saving, how much you're spending. And as we think about this coming year, 2025, I know it's coming soon, many of you are thinking about creating a business. Well, Relay has something very unique right now, and they call it the Free Cash Flow Reset. It's a promotion that is currently ongoing for any new individuals that wants to create a Relay account on their platform by giving $25,000 to one lucky business owner. What you need to do is simple. Go on Relay using the link in the description below and fund your business checking account with at least $100. This promotion, guys, is timely as it ends December 31st. So now is the right time to act. I know many of you are just at the door of making that next steps to start your side hustle or your business. This is the way to go. Start that new adventure. Good luck to you, the new and future business owner.
If I get an American Express, it's gonna be a 0-year-old credit card. Is that gonna lower?
It's gonna lower your score for a little bit. Yep. But you don't care. You don't care because it's gonna come as a hard pull, additional account, and it's gonna lower your age history. Okay? The age on your accounts. But it's fine.
Yeah.
You're gonna get hit by about probably 15, 20 points, but you don't care. Your score is 738. Anything higher than 740, you're good to go. But for the most part, I'm gonna tell you and I'm gonna reveal a myth. People don't give a damn about the number on your credit score. You can have an 800 if you have no history, no accounts, and nothing to show for. You're going to be in a worse spot than probably someone that has a 720 that has history on their accounts and so on and so forth. A score is just a fluff. What they look for is how have you been able to handle debt? Do you have different forms of debt? That doesn't mean that I want to encourage you to carry debt. Your score today is pretty clean. Okay, you've been paying your cards and so on. It's nice. By the way, speaking of which, guys, if you guys are in the process of wanting to build your credit score and you can't get a credit card, you should look into what I refer to as a fees card. That's a debit card that reports your payments to the credit bureau. So you're kind of building that credit without having the bad things about credit cards, which is
not having
interest
the money
and so on. Exactly, because right now you're not allowed to overspend because it acts as a debit card. You can look in the description. I have a link. All right, let's look at your spend, but I want you to get the trifecta. I think it's worth it.
Okay, I'll check.
Trifecta. Check it out. Let's look at your spend. Okay, so for the most part, I mean, you spend quite a bit of money on outside food. That's kind of your thing, right?
Outside food? Like restaurants?
Burrito Coop, yeah, $29. Acai, $29 at the acai.
Well, because I buy two, sometimes I invite my friends or they Venmo me and then...
Pizza, $30. Noodle, $42. That day you did the quadrifecta. 26, 29, 31, 42. Then you spend more than the number of meals that exist in a day.
Okay, that week was last week and I was sick, so I couldn't really cook, so I just bought stuff. But yeah.
For the most part, a lot of your spend is a little bit of Amazon, food at Ralph, not
grocery
the most
shopping.
Optimized. I like grocery outlets, Aldi, organic food, 50% off. You have it in LA. You can't tell me no on that
Aldi?
front. Yeah. Not grocery outlet. You have grocery outlet.
Yeah. The Ralph is like the one next to me.
Yeah, but you're paying about 30% of a premium when your food budget is pretty steep. You have pets. I see Pet Food Express.
Look at my dog.
Nice. You have pet insurance?
Yep.
Yay! That's good.
I have insurance for my dog.
See, you have great pet insurance for him, but you on your car, you have peanuts.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Right? Think about it. All right. Ross, Cold Stone.
That's ice cream.
Ultra, sign up.
That's my... Okay, so those are the races I sign up.
Okay. It's not the beauty sport. That's fine. Trader Joe's.
No.
Netflix, the regular, pizza, parking. You have a decent amount of spending on things that I'm expecting for you at your age. Okay, it's not crazy. You're not overspending. For the most part, you're spending into things that are pretty fair. Now, is it optimized? Maybe not. Let's think about this.
That's what I want. I need it optimized.
What's nice to see though is you carry health insurance.
Yeah.
Which is nice. You're spending on your races. You're spending some restaurant outside, but you are okay. Because other than a little bit of the credit cards that you have, you're debt-free.
Yes, thank goodness.
No student loans, no car loans, no personal loans. No. You pay your credit cards. You're good to go. Ladies and gentlemen, what's amazing here is I have a white paper. So let's see.
Yay.
Let's speak about the juice on what we have, because right now, again, looking at your current net worth with 37,000 or so of assets, 2,300 of debt, You currently have a net worth of 35,462. Let's go. At least we're in the positive. And your current master in Barcelona is also pretty good price.
Yep.
How much?
It's like around 3,200.
You know, I got a master from Cornell. I got a really, really good scholarship.
Yeah, because otherwise what?
$200,000.
That's insane.
Yep. I have friends that graduated with $176,000 of debt. Yeah. I have some student loans. I got private loans, 2.6%. So that's not bad at all, you know. But generally, I would recommend people to get federal. Be it's because I know that I can pay them. But I don't recommend people to take private student loans, okay? I just did it for me because if I want, I do have the funds that I can pay them back.
Okay.
Okay, Nalba, now that we know a little bit more about your financial situation, let's transition together into our next segment, which looks at the money case. Many of you guys have 401ks, which in my eyes is actually a pretty big scam. Personally, I don't like 401ks other than for people to get the match with their companies. But for the very vast majority of Americans, it has been a good systems that force saving into retirement plans where people, for the most part, are stuck in what we refer to as target funds. Okay? Mm-hmm. And I'm going to bring a little bit more flavor and more depth to what I usually provide. So let's take the example today, Alba, that you have about, which at some point you will soon, $100,000, okay, to invest into your 401k. Just follow me along. You will see why. I'm going to bring my point forward. If you invest it over the course of 30 years, okay, and your annual interest is 8%. So you have two options. Either you invest into the S&P 500, which has a management fee of 0.04%, or into a target fund, which generally has a management fee on average of about 0.68%. Okay? The same amount of money, just two different plans, and we assume that both return 8% per year. Mm-hmm. The amount of money that you will earn from the S&P 500 is $995,000.
After 30 years.
The 30 years, 995. The one that you would if you were doing a target fund is 832. Assuming the same performance, just the fees from the target fund is costing you, over the course of that time, $162,000.
That's a lot of money on fees.
On fees. And if that was only it, are you ready for it?
No.
Fees is one component of why I believe target funds are shit. The second reason is because of average performance in the trailing decades. When we look at returns of the average target funds within the past 10 years, it's about 6.5%. Okay? The S&P 500 was 10.5%. So let's say we use that same example of the $100,000 that we invest and we let it go for 30 years.
Okay.
If you were to use the target fund with the average return as what we've seen, you would end up with $661,000.
Okay.
If you were to invest that money into the S&P 500, $1,997,000.
That's a big jump.
Why? Because while I think that target funds can be interesting, maybe for an older audience after the 50 years old, because they adjust your risk profile to put more bonds against stocks. When you're young, and I mean, even if you're older personally, I just don't like them. I would always recommend someone to invest into low indexes like the S&P 500, for example. There is a reason why Warren Buffett always said that the best investment that he could make is the S&P 500. He actually, I believe in the 2000s, had an experiment, okay, where I don't remember the amount, but I think it was about $10,000. that he put against any other form of target funds, the ones that are managed by traders and so on. And he said, for the most part, I'm going to beat the vast majority of people that have active target funds. The result is that the S&P 500 did beat them. So you don't need to be a genius. You don't need to know about the market.
Yeah.
You just need to not be screwed. And here I've showcased in numbers why I think that having an active management on your account is important.
Okay.
So let's see as we think about how you manage your own retirement accounts. And for home as well, hopefully this was something for you to look at. $1.3 million. And on top of that, 160,000 or so freaking fees. Come on, you're being double scammed.
Yeah.
We don't want that. Let's move on.
Okay. Yeah, I don't want to be scammed.
About 50% of you watching are not subscribed to the channel. And as you know, we are all about changing people's life. In fact, 43 individuals this year that have come to the show have significantly improved their financial situations. If you want to be part of the journey and support us, my goal is to reach 50,000 subscribers by the end of this year. Can we make it happen? I count on you. So click subscribe right below. Now time for the juice of this discussion. What would I do if I was in your shoes?
Yes.
The problem that I'm facing with you is that for the most part, you want the best of every word. What I mean by that is you want to have the family lifestyle, the family ambitions, the financial stability. But on the other hand, you're telling me, hey, Romain, my passion is in performing. Both of them conflict. And you're coming to me and say, Romain, can you give me, please, the recipe so that I can get some form of passive income so that I can accomplish both? And then what I'm going to tell you is that in some ways, you're going to have to make some form of decisions as to how you're going to want to live your life.
Yeah.
So, Alba, could you please tell me, where does your heart land? What do you want from life?
I want peace of mind and financial freedom, financial stability, and I want to feel like I am optimizing my time and my brain, if that makes sense.
How long have you been in the acting world?
I started kind of taking it serious in 2021, 3 years ago.
How soon do you want to have kids?
Like in 10 years, maybe in 8 years.
Okay, so it's not something
not
that
right
you're feeling
now.
right now.
But I feel
Okay.
like I want to feel like, that I'm working towards it. Because it's not just going to be like, oh, let's have kids. And I have no plans of, no financial stability.
Okay. So this is what I would do. Right now, let's look at purely from a financial perspective. Right now, to live per month, you need $3,000. This is to assume your needs.
$3,000 per month?
Yep, that's what you need to satisfy your needs. No outside food, no nails, wax, all that stuff. Zero. $3,000. I know you're not going to live like this because you're young and you want to have a pretty active life, right? That's just the way it is. So I'm allowing you on the side about $400 per month for fun.
For fun.
For fun. That's eating out and so on. Okay?
Okay.
That's realistic. What do you want? Do you want to put, because right now you're saving $150 per month at your prime age. You're in the golden age right now for you to save. You're saving $150. You have $3,000 or so on your retirement.
I know.
What do you want? You have to guardrail sometimes. If you were coming to the show thinking I'm going to tell you, hey, keep your spending. If you were saving thousands per month, I would tell you, hey, okay, let's rock and roll. That's fine. You're doing it. My friend, I'm seeing $150.
Yeah.
Personally, I would give myself 2 to 3 years to make it in the acting world.
Yeah.
And within that time, you're strengthening yourself with a second master that you have right now that's costing you peanuts because it's sponsored by your mother.
Yeah.
You have to think of it this way. 2%, if not less, of people that engage themselves in that career are going to make it.
Yeah.
And so that means that you're willing to either outwork, outperform, or out-network 98% of the people that come in that profession. Okay? There is an element of luck, there is an element of work, and then there is an element of time.
Yeah.
But you have to outperform 98% of the people that fall in that profession.
Yeah.
At what cost? Because today, those are the years for you to take a shot. In your 20s, you take shots, you take risks. So you're still young enough for you to allow yourself this shot. But you have to realize that you have to compete. Since you're in sports, you have to compete and be in the top 2% to make it. Probabilities are low, but I don't want you to miss on your shot. So how do we go at it smartly, still allowing you the chance to take that shot, but strengthening on the side your finances and your structure? You continue that master degree. It sucks. It's going to take you time. But do you want to be part of those, top 2%? You have to be just better than them.
Yeah.
Okay? The biggest thing is money doesn't come from nothing. You need money to make money. Right?
Yeah.
So your money, you have $30,000 or so. I would maintain about $10,000 into your high yield saving account. I would probably push it up to about 15 personally, maintain $5,000 in your checking at all time. I want you to continue pushing on your Roth IRA. Hopefully at some point you're going to be able to max it out. That would make me very happy if you're able to save.
I don't know about that. How does that work?
$7,000 per year.
$7,000 per year.
That you can put on that. And you're going to invest it into pretty safe positions. No financial advice, VOO, VGT, VTI, SPYI, QQQ. I will give you the list at the end.
Okay.
Don't worry. From 0 to 100, how is acting important for you?
100.
Maintain your $65,000 per job remote.
Yeah.
Cut as much as you can your superficial spend so that you don't have to put as much time into the racquetball BS, which is fun, but it's not bringing you anywhere. And invest that time into your education and into continuing your casting calls. Because the time that you're investing into the racquetball is the money that you're making for you to buy the plancha and the whatever you're spending your money on that is unnecessary. Hopefully, what this is going to bring you is a break-even point on your finances that allows you to give the chance for the next 2 years to truly give a shot at the acting world. But by doing that, you're going to end at 30 years old with 2 master degrees and a financial situation that gives yourself the foundation to build on top of that.
Okay, yeah.
As we think about passive income, with no money, what would I do? Well, you can't do much, but there are some things that I like. For example, Facebook marketplace flipping, So you buy items for a certain price that you're able to flip, okay? So what that means, something like sometimes on Facebook, you can find people that sell pallets of Amazon returns or some sort. Here in Las Vegas, I did that for quite a while. Maybe it exists at your location. There is Amazon returns auctions. So, yeah. So I was able to buy, I did that for about 2 years. It was a website called Nelly's Auctions. It's liquidation auctions maybe for you at home, where you buy an item, you go pick it up, and I was trying to resell it on Facebook Marketplace. I average about $500 to $700 of profit per month. You can also do some form of pallet buying where you individualize the item and you sell the item as individuals. That's one option. Now, other options that people really like in the passive investment front is things like Turo and so on. Personally, I absolutely hate those. Anything that has some form of liability attached to it, I think is a long-term loss, maybe short-term reward, but long-term loss. Real estate positions. Let's have some fun with this. Today, you can buy some properties in Tennessee, the Wisconsin in the world, for $60,000, $70,000, $80,000. In Louisville and so on, multifamilies, and then you can rent those properties, sometimes under what we refer to as Section 8, for guaranteed income by the government, for about $1,100 to $1,400, depending on the location. So you buy the property for $60,000, you put it under Section 8, guys do your research, and you rent it for about $1,400, guaranteed by the government. The problem in some aspects of this is you are performing what is referred to as out-of-state rental. So you're going to have to contract a management company that will take about 10%. And for the most part, you're dealing with tenants. It's a tough crowd.
Yeah.
It's a very tough crowd. So they break something, it generally falls under your liability, and you have to just understand the dynamic behind it. It can quickly become a full-time job. Out-of-state investments can be very, very stressful for not a crazy amount of money. But generally, people come into this position with $500,000. They buy 10 properties within an area. They put a property management on site, and they kind of govern all of that. And the fluctuation of one and another kind of pays for the defects of the others.
Okay.
If you're going with one and you put all your eggs in one basket with $20,000 on your saving accounts, you're messed up.
Yeah.
So real estate for you right now is not an option. An option for you to invest is to continue investing into the market, like what we refer to as your brokerage account on Robinhood. I would personally sell all of the positions that you're into right now. So you've been outperforming the market with 21%. A lot of your investments are into the S&P 500, which is nice. But I would consolidate into low fees indexes where you don't have to overthink or time the market. Just always remember, guys, timing the market is a highly inefficient strategies. What you want to do is dollar cost average, meaning you invest at recurrent frequency, no matter the value of the market, and you don't sell. Okay. That's what you want to do on a monthly, bi-weekly basis, weekly basis. You put $100, $200 on the side on your brokerage. You can invest into also what is referred to as dividend plays. Okay. I personally really love a company called Neos Investments. They have dividends called the SPYI. No financial advice, but this is based on, and I'm going to go a little bit more advanced, okay?
Yeah.
Call options on the S&P 500 that gives you safeguard dividends that not only do you benefit from the growth of the S&P 500, but on top of that, you also benefit from quarterly dividends. So dividend is a good way for passive investment.
My only thing about this is that like money in the market is not really, it's not liquid, right? Like you don't.
I mean, it's definitely more liquid than real estate. You can invest and then you can take out the money at any time if you want to sell.
Yeah, but real estate, you have like tenants, let's say, and they pay you every month and you have that money that you can use. Whereas in the market, if you want that money, you got to take it out. And
so real estate is one of the most illiquid ways of placing money. Because you are going to pay $60,000, or maybe I'm being very nice, you're looking at pretty hard properties for $60,000, okay? But let's say $100,000. Generally, you're gonna have to come as an investor loan because you're not gonna be a first home buyer. So you can't put 3%, 4%, 5%. You can't put that. You're gonna have to go through as an investment mortgage. That's at least 20% down payment.
okay.
Yeah, and let's be honest. Generally, 90% of transactions for the properties of that price happens with cash. Those are cash transactions.
Okay.
Very rarely do you find, properties like this that give you a deal. You always make your money in real estate by the time you purchase the good. Okay, and you want to follow. What I like to follow is what is referred to as the 1% rule. The 1% rule tells you if you buy a property for $100,000, you should be able to clear 1% of the property value by months. So your rent should be higher than $1,000. You can't achieve that in LA. You can't achieve that in Las Vegas. You can only achieve that generally, let's be honest, in landlord-friendly states, which is generally the South or Central of the United States, Wisconsin, Tennessee, Ohio, in working-class neighborhoods.
Yeah.
But that's the problem, my dear friend, is you are putting so much strength into your acting career that you have to acknowledge the fact that it's going to slow down your progressions financially because you're taking a shot. So how do we balance against that? Is by feeling that you are at least protecting your time with things that can help you in your future. Anyone can take your job, nobody can take your diploma.
That's true. Yeah. That's why my master's is important to do.
So the question that I have for you is, are you willing to sacrifice the little bit of the outdoor superflux of the all the silly expenses that I saw at the bowl and the acai and so on for 1 to 2 years so that you can drop the racquetball. This is going to equate to 0 in the transaction because the racquetball was funding your, unnecessary lifestyle, and give yourself the chance to use that time towards your master.
Yeah, I can do that.
But give yourself a deadline because you're, as you mentioned, falling behind, but you are going at it very smartly with the trifecta. I'm going to be using trifecta forever. Stable employment.
Yeah.
Acting.
In
masters.
Yeah.
No regrets.
No, that's a good
You're
idea.
safeguarding your future.
Yeah.
You're taking a shot.
Yeah.
And you're not hurting yourself financially.
Yeah, I think
that's how I would look at it. But stop wasting your money and your time into things that are not bringing you anywhere.
You're right. Quick question. For the Roth IRA, do you think I should invest more every month?
Yes.
Should I put more?
Yes.
How much more? Should I put double, $300 a month?
I'm hoping that you can max it out, but that would be overly optimistic. I'd rather you invest 50% of what you're able to save into your Roth IRA and 50% into the brokerage account. Take care of your car insurance and that BS. I don't want to hear that. That's a joke. After those 2 years, no matter what, you would have taken a shot with no regret, but you have a safeguard that you're 31 years old with double master degree and no debt, and you can still outperform life.
Yeah. Yep.
How do you feel?
I'm excited because now you gave me the tools to optimize what I have, right? So like my savings, I can do better with that. My Roth IRA, you're going to tell me how to get rid of that big fee. My master's, it is important. And I think like I'm so lucky to have access to
$3,000.
Yeah, and also...
In the US, you would be paying over $100,000 for it.
Exactly. So I feel like I got to take that shot. Always good to educate yourself and learn more stuff and be ready for, a better job if it comes. And really have to step down on my social life and be like, okay, Alba, what are you doing here in LA?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm spending so much money on my rent to live in LA because I want to pursue acting. And I'm spending my evenings, getting dinners and stuff like that when I should be like,
grinding.
Yeah, studying or working on doing an audition. So for sure.
2 years, you lock yourself like a horse, like this on the target.
I can do that.
And in our profession, I'm doing the same as you. If you're average, you're unknown, you're done. It's game over. Everybody wants to do it. But only a very few are willing to go above and beyond.
Yes.
And to you, it's doing those 3 that we mentioned together.
Yeah, the trifecta. I'm going to totally do that. And the credit card.
Let's go.
I'm going to do that. Thank
All right,
you so
Alba,
much.
I will be following up with you. Don't let me down and protect your future self. That's the biggest thing.
Yes.
And this master is your protection.
Yeah, you're right.
Any final words?
Man, just thanks for this and the relief that I have right now. And I have guidance, which helps a lot,
Awesome.
Thank you.
I won't let you down. We'll be following up with you. Thank you so much, guys, for following on through this journey. We invite you to like and subscribe. Until then, I see you next time. À bientôt.
Hello, Alba. How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing great. I know it's been a couple of weeks since we've both recorded our finance action video, and I'm here for the follow-up. How has it been going for you?
Good. I took some of your advice and I took action on it. Every month I save $600 straight from my check.
And did you continue your master degree?
Yes, I am continuing my master's degree, but instead of in 1 year, I'm probably going to do it in 2 years.
Okay, right. That's good. I mean, that's a good plan.
I'm breathing way more better. I'm just way more less stressed right now, so it's perfect. I also put most of my money on my savings account, like you said. I moved $6,000 on my savings account, so right now I'm about $18,000 on savings.
Wait, is it is it on your high yield savings?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, that's a good amount of money, but don't forget, I would want, now that we are arriving close to the end of the year to check out how much you've contributed on your Roth IRA, and if you can put maybe $4,000 on that Roth IRA before the end of the year. I think you have until April 15 to still put that money towards your contribution max of 2024. That's the good idea, because $100 per month, given what you're saving right now, I would put a little bit more than that, at least $200, $250.
Okay, I was also thinking that maybe 100 is not a lot. So perfect. I have been better with my spending, and so now I'm more conscious about, okay, when do I feel like I really deserve going out, and when do I feel like I can just go home and eat at home instead of eating with friends, and that's gonna help me, be able to save more money too. And then also I had some extra opportunities to make some more money, my friend has a kid, and sometimes she needs a babysitter, or she's got a dog, and sometimes she needs someone to look after
There you
the dog.
go, side hustle.
So
Nice.
Yeah, and the thing is, I work from home, so I'm able to, dog sit while I'm working, and I'm making extra money.
The other thing is, please tell me that you've looked into your insurance, your car insurance, your motorcycle.
I was paying for it. I thought I didn't, but I was.
Oh, so you have full coverage. You're good to go on that. You're not going to pull some shit, state minimum and stuff, right?
Yeah, I was. Okay. I just wasn't aware of it.
Okay. So one of the big components of our show together was the feeling that you felt stuck in a way and like you couldn't afford a family and so on. Do you feel more or less more stable?
Right now, not on my own, obviously. I feel I would need to have a partner that also is good with money, not just makes a lot of money, but is good with money. And then together we can plan a way to have a family.
No, that's fair. With regards to your savings, you were saving 150. Now you're saving 600. So that's jackpot. That's a really good improvement, Alba. You're continuing your master degree and you're maintaining your acting profession. Yeah. Well, have a great holiday period, Alba. It was a pleasure. Good luck with everything, and looking forward to see how 2025 goes for you. Okay.
Thank you. Good luck with you, with everything, with your channel, with everything that you do.
Awesome. See you, Alba. Take care.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.